If you fish long enough, you'll run across a body of water that just absolutely frustrates, confuses, and aggravates you. A place that everybody else talks about how they catch so many big fish and how they have so much fun when they fish it. But for some reason, you just simply cannot figure it out and you only catch small fish or no fish at all. For me, this is that lake. But the time has come for me to put in the work. The time has come for me to conquer this place and finally catch some big fish. Welcome to Breaking BOMO. Alright guys, so first thing, one of the biggest mistakes that most people make when they're fishing a new body of water, they're breaking a body of water down, is what they do is they immediately fly to the other end of the lake. That is a huge mistake. In my opinion, some of the best fishing is right next to the boat ramp, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that everybody ignores that area. Everybody just immediately moves on to another section of the lake. So why would you ignore good fishing just because it's near where you launch? The fish don't care where you launch from. So the first thing we're going to do here, we have a pontoon boat, we have some docks, we have a bluff wall, and then a little bay over here. We're going to start by fishing this area. We're going to break it down. I'm in 23 feet of water, so it's already pretty deep right off of the ramp. We're going to start working our way along the shoreline. I'm going to work my way into the flat, into zone 1. So I'm going to show you guys up here. This is what zone 1 is. It's the southern half of the lake. There's a sandbar. It's a shallow area. I have fished it before. I need to be clear. This isn't a brand new lake to me. It's just a lake that I have struggled to catch fish at. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with finesse. We're going to work our way along the shoreline. If we don't catch anything, then we're going to work our way into the flat areas, and we're going to try to see if we can work out some bigger bites and some other stuff later. I'm finding a problem and it's frustrating me, and I don't think it's worth fighting. So the current is heading that way. I'm trying to head into the current. Now I'm in a rowboat that's very light, so I don't have the option to really keep myself going in the direction I want to go without running my trolling motor nonstop. Rather than fight it, I'm going to use a tactic that I use with my kayak as well. I'm going to go into the wind, get down on the other end, and let the current drift me back. Rather than fight the current, use the current's natural ability to move me and have that be what pushes me down the bank. So what we're going to do is we're going to get under power here. We're going to head down to the southernmost end. We're actually going to fish the shallow area and then ride the current back rather than constantly fight it. That's something that I highly recommend if you're fishing in a boat that you don't have constant power or you don't want to kill your battery very fast. It's a very good little technique. You go down, roll with the current, and then you don't have to fight it the whole time. Well, there's a fish. Definitely not what we're looking for, guys, but this is my luck right here, guys. This is what I catch here. It always seems to be this size. Stop recording. Alright guys, so what we did is we made our way down to the southernmost tip of the lake. This end right here is the most like area of how I like to fish. It has submergent grass. It is 8 to 12 feet of water, not super deep, but there's not grass all the way to the surface. There's just enough grass to provide home for those bass, but not too much that you can't get baits through it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use my favorite search bait, which is a swim jig, and we're gonna kind of just roll it through this grass, work our way into the real shallow flat. On the other side of this is a sandbar, and we're gonna probably switch things up and rock a square bill instead of a swim jig. But essentially we're just on search mode right now. We're just trying to find something, some area where there is signs of life. I'm not seeing any bait fish. I'm not seeing anything that really tells me I need to stay in one particular area. I'm not getting hits on my bait, things like that. So my goal is to really just get a couple of fish on the board and then start zigzagging and try to figure out, you know, an overall pattern. But for the most part, you know, it's pretty simple that if I use a black and blue swim jig, which has worked every single lake I've ever fished in, fan cast, work along the shoreline. There is a few docks on this end, so I'm definitely going to work some of the docks. And we're going to just kind of cruise down through and see if we can find any holding areas, mark those waypoints, because this is not going to be just a one and done type of thing. So this series is probably going to run over the course of 2 years. So what my plan is I want to not only catch fish in an area, but I want to prove that I can keep coming back to an area. I can consistently catch fish like I do on my home lake. So this isn't the type of series that you guys are going to get 2 episodes and then I'm going to be like, okay, I accomplished it, or I suck. This is going to be a series where I continue to battle against this lake until I feel like I have its number and I'm able to just really consistently call my shot and go and catch fish consistently as a rule. You know, I don't want to be able to just say, hey, I caught 2 fish here. That means I accomplished my goal. That's not what we're looking to do here. And it's something that I think will help you guys if you have lakes that you're struggling with, just trying to see, you know, what different approaches I take throughout the series. All right, guys, so I fished, well, I'll show you on a graphic right here. I covered this top half of the lake. So far, I've caught 1 fish, which is what this kind of is about. Struggling, trying to figure it out. But what we're doing now is we're looking for a ledge. I'm in 60 feet of water right now in the middle, and I know for sure in the area that I'm heading to right now that there is a lot less water. There's got to be a ledge somewhere, and that's what I'm kind of looking for. Typically when you get a shallow flat, there'll be a bank that runs straight down. It'll usually go pretty drastic in most lakes here in New England, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that drastic drop because I want to parallel that. I want to fish that with some moving baits, lipless, deep divers, things like that, because that will give me some information as to what depth the fish are looking for. And you have to take into account the conditions. So this is a bad day to run this experiment because I'm in a shallow grass flat. The fish will be moving, the bait fish will be active, but it is bluebird sky. It is ungodly hot. I'm gonna tell you right now, I should not have worn sweatpants. And it is definitely not the conditions that I would recommend trying to figure a lake out, because a bite gets definitely tough when it's this hot. So I really think that I'm gonna have to hit this area again, but so far I'm not super impressed with the quality of fish and everything that's going on. But this might be an area that has specific types of conditions that would cause me to fish it. And that's another thing that I want to bring up. You know, when you're exploring a new lake, when you're trying to break things down, you have to think about, you know, maybe there isn't fish there because of the conditions. I have a lot of places on my home lake that I would catch a lot of fish, but I only fish certain areas because there is submergent grass. But so you have to think about, you know, the conditions that you're fishing in. Oh, motherfucker, is this like jamming up on me? All right, stop recording. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. It is 12 o'clock. It is getting way too damn hot out here. The fish have just shut down, and that's part of the deal here. It's part of this whole process is I have to learn how to fish every condition, but I do have obligations that I have to get to today. So we're gonna call this the end of episode 1, guys. I'm gonna be fishing a different section of the lake in episode 2. So be on the lookout for that. I'll actually put a link up here to it, guys. But I want to thank you guys for coming along with me. I know this isn't my normal content. There wasn't that many fish catches. I only ended up catching the 4 or 5 little guys, but that's kind of the deal here. And that's what we're trying to overcome, is not catching just all those little tiny fish. So hopefully you guys like this content. Hopefully you'll want to come along with me on my journey to try to figure out how to break this lake, how to finally break through and start catching some bigger fish. Again, I want to thank you guys for coming along with me and watching this video. If you haven't already, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and as always, let's get out there, catch more fish. Stop recording.